OpenAI announced Sora last spring, and ever since then, I've been really looking forward to trying it out. I finally got a chance to, and as a professional artist and designer, I can safely say it sucks. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All coming to you from yet another place. I'm actually in my Cybertruck. Forgive me, there is some sound because it is charging right now. Got my laptop in my lap. I've got my camera on the steering wheel. I've got Sora up here. I've got some videos that I've generated, and I'm going to talk about why, as a professional designer and artist, a CG artist, I can safely say that this is not, it's not ready for prime time. But then again, neither was, the original Dolly, the earlier versions of image generators and things like that. They were pretty terrible as well, and now they have gotten exceptionally good. So, there's room to grow, but the state of the art right now is pretty pathetic. I'm going to explain why, and I also have a solution for it, but I'm not going to tell anyone because I actually have intellectual property in the form of a provisional patent that I'm working on right now. This is not saltiness. If I just want to make sure that people understand that if this worked really well, I would be like, that's fantastic, and it works fantastically, and I'm reviewing this as honestly as I can be. I obviously am coming into it with a professional standpoint. I have mostly been teaching about this stuff and have worked into the AI realm recently, so I don't do as much of this anymore. But up until about 7 or 8 years ago, I did a lot of professional design work, a lot of professional animation work, a lot of graphics, like the logos you see at the beginning of episodes for ESPN or whatever, things like that. I never did anything for ESPN, but anyway, I've done a lot of work professionally in the computer graphics world, in the design world, in the film world. I've done a lot of film video recording and stuff. I know I have a kind of a minimalist aesthetic, so you probably wouldn't know it from watching my YouTube videos, but I've actually done quite a bit of film production and post-production. So anyway, as you can see here in my lap here, I've got some videos that I have produced, and I'm going to talk first of all about this one. I'll just go ahead and show it. Of course, we don't have, this is a Cybertruck, a family driving in a Cybertruck, tight shot, moving out. And I'm going to go into the storyboards to sort of explain what's going on here and why this is so bad. So what I did was I gave it a relatively simple prompt, and the first thing that OpenAI does is it converts that into a more specific prompt. So here you can see camera focuses on the mother who is behind the wheel of a futuristic Cybertruck. Note that did not look anything like a Cybertruck, by the way. She is wearing a warm, cozy sweater, I did not specify that, and has a look of contentment as she drives. To her side, the dashboard displays high-tech controls. The interior is modern and sleek with hints of metallic accents. Soft chatter and laughter can be heard from the back seats. Interesting, since we don't have any audio with this, where two children are bundled in winter gear. So remember all of this stuff. Then we get the storyboard. We move to the second panel, and this is a 5-second shot. The camera pulls back to reveal the full interior of the Cybertruck with the family inside. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that. And then finally, the shot moves outside, showing the Cybertruck cruising smoothly through a vast snowy Arctic landscape. This was part of my original prompt. I wanted it to pull away from the mother who is driving the truck out through the vehicle, right? One of those magic crane shots that moves outside from inside to outside, right? That was what I wanted. And then I wanted it to show an Arctic landscape. So anyway, that's what I gave it. This is what it gave me back. It gave me just a shot of a mother driving in a futuristic car, but obviously not a Cybertruck. I'm in a Cybertruck right now. You can see very different looking interior, basic grays and things like that. Yes, but nothing like what it was having. So now let's take a look at the best one. This was a commercial showing a close up of milk pouring into white cereal bowl onto poop flakes, which I don't know why. It was late at night when I did this. So this one is the best that I've gotten so far. It looks reasonable. It's okay. Not fantastic, but you can see that we have stuff that looks like it might be poop flakes or something, and we've got something that looks like reasonably pouring milk here. And then we've got, I just put a pug on Mars, and you can see that this is rather pathetic. The pug is good. The rover is good, but it looks like it's some sort of weird Hollywood set. Looks like a Stanley Kubrick, version of the moon landing instead of the real one. So not particularly good. And by the way, these are the better of the two. I am generating two variations. And by the way, I paid $200 a month for Sora right now. So I'm probably going to back that back to the $20 a month thing, because I don't find any of this stuff particularly good or useful. I tried a bunch with aliens, as you can see, could never get it. I wanted an alien walking down Times Square with the Rockefeller tree balanced on its head, and I could never get anything decently like that. Tried it with my actual pug, and this generated something absolutely bizarre. So it was just like her doing nothing. She was breathing, and then it transitioned to the last shot. So that was pretty useless as well. And then finally, a shot that I teach my students in my technical physical animation class, which is a water tower collapsing and the water falling forward, landing in the street, and the water going over the camera. So the camera is like, head height, POV kind of shot. So you can see the physics is all messed up here. The collapse doesn't work right. The barrel kind of spins. The water comes out of nowhere. And this was after several prompt attempts and making a try at making this work as well as possible. So again, I was trying as well as possible. Okay, so what is the problem with all of this stuff, right? We've got things that look fairly realistic, and yeah, people have produced stuff that's okay. And I actually talked to Royden D'Souza last night. He's got something coming out on Al Jazeera shortly about the deep fake capabilities of products like Sora. By the way, I've also used Kling as well, and Sora is better than Kling, so I mean, there's that at least. And Royden's concern was that the casual viewer might be confused, right? They might be tricked into believing what they were seeing on camera was in actuality happening when it wasn't. And I would agree that that is a distinct possibility to happen, right? That could happen. He showed me some quick prompts that he did of a news anchor and an Al Jazeera set, doing the news, right? So, and it looked okay. It looked reasonably believable if you weren't paying very close attention. Obviously, it wasn't. The words were wrong. There were screwy things going on. There's a lot of clues that showed it wasn't real, but it was okay. And all of the things that I showed you were okay. But the difference between being an amateur and a professional is the last 20%. I always call it in class the 80-20 rule. Very easy to get the first 80%. Or someone once said, and I'm forgetting who said this, but he said that 90% of your time was on the first 90% of the project. The other 90% of your time was on the last 10%. Ha ha, right? Kind of a Yogi Berra kind of a thing. But that's what I'm talking about. The first 80% you generate is relatively speaking easy, and most people with relatively good skills can do it. It's that last 20% that really separates out professional work from amateur work. And what we're seeing with Sora here is amateur work. It's getting you 80% of the way there, and it's remarkable they can do it in just a couple of minutes. You can just type in a prompt and it will generate something, right? You have guy in Cybertruck talking on the camera. You could generate something like that and generate an artificial video of me doing that and probably have better hair than I have right now because I just came from the gym. But anyway, that's only 80% of the way there. That's okay. The last 20% is where the bulk of the professional work comes in. It's the thing that separates you just walking out and taking a random picture from a professional photographer, and even more so, you going out and taking a quick video of your friend doing a skateboard trick from a professional movie maker, generating that into a narrative story. And the real rub here is that this is just untrainable. It gets you 80% of the way there and it generates these prompts, but it's kind of like no matter what you do, you could see that in the original prompt. It said pull out of the Cybertruck into the Arctic landscape. It's in the storyboard. It's written down, but the computer, but Sora is actually ignoring that and just doing an interior shot of the woman driving, not a Cybertruck again. And of course, that's really important because the details matter. If if it was a commercial for a Cybertruck, you can't have something that looks kind of like a Cybertruck. You need an actual Cybertruck that is in the commercial. So that detail matters. But even more so is the detail of the fact that you're not getting that pull-out shot. You're not getting the thing that you wanted. That's the whole point, is to kind of pull out and see the truck driving in a cool Arctic landscape. That sort of thing is the upshot. That's the button on the video. That's the important part, and you're just not going to get it. And I tried a bunch of different ways to get that, and it was just it just kind of was like, yep, I'm going to ignore what's going on. I don't care. I'm going to do what I want. And if you have something that's that recalcitrant, that won't agree with what you're trying to get it to do, that won't be amenable to it, you can't use that in a professional environment. That's the long and short of that. So right now, Sora is unusable in a professional environment. How do you solve that problem? Like I said at the beginning, I know exactly how to solve the problem. I've got stuff that I'm working on to solve it. If OpenAI or somebody else wants to contact me, I would be happy to talk to you. As always, you can contact me. Just look at the information in the description. But I'm, for obvious reasons, not giving that stuff away for free. So anyway, I'm doing an honest review here. Whether or not anybody cares about what I think is the solution, I hope you can see what the problem is. The problem is that none of these videos are doing exactly what I want. And as a professional, I have a very clear idea in my mind. It's like I have this vision in my mind. These things are going to happen, and that's what I want. And if I can't get that, and I can't get it to do what I want, then it's not ready for professional use. The difference with professional tools like Photoshop or Maya or After Effects or whatever, you name it, it doesn't matter what it is it takes quite a while to get good good at using those tools. But once you can use those tools, you can utilize those tools to do what you want, to create the vision that you have in your head. And oftentimes, of course, that vision changes as you work on it because you see the reality and it's not quite like what you had in your head. I'm not saying you imagine it and it pops out, from your brain exactly like you imagined it in the first place. It's usually better than that because you're working on it and working on it. But the problem we have with Sora and with other video generators that I've tried out, and the reason why I was actually going to show this to my advanced animation class, Sora and Kling, this fall, and I decided not to. I said, it's just not good enough. I can't show you anything that would do better than what you guys can do in this class. And of course, that may and likely will change by 12 months from now, but as of right now, this stuff is not for professional use. It just isn't good enough. It doesn't take direction well enough, and it can't produce that last 20% that really, really makes a high quality professional product, high quality and professional. All right, folks, so that's what I've got. I think that's a kind of a contrarian view to what most people are doing these days. Most people I've seen are like, Sora is amazing. It's the most amazing thing ever. I am wholly underwhelmed by it at this point. I'm hoping it will be better in the future, but at present, it is not good enough. Anyway, let me know what your experience is like in the comments, and if you agree or disagree with me. And while you're down there, if you don't mind liking and subscribing, it really does help out the channel. Thank you all so much for doing that. I would love to get to 100,000 subscribers by my 60th birthday in late January. And you can help me out with the click of a button. In the meantime, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.